Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about resignation letters. Writing a resignation letter is never fun. It's always difficult at best. And we really just want to make sure that we make it as pleasant as possible. It's a point that as much as we really don't want to deny it, and as much as sometimes our resignation letters come from points of anger and just being like, you know what, I quit, see you later, see you never, right? But we really want to keep in mind that maybe at some point we're going to have to turn back to this job, or we're going to have to need this boss as a reference for later on, especially when we're working in companies long term. It's really important to keep it formal because you might want to give them as reference later on because you don't want to leave them out, right? You don't want to leave a huge gap on your resume being like, well, I did work at this company, but I got into a really big disagreement and I quit in a terrible manner, right? Even though if you even give your notice and everything's well and all is good, you really just want to make sure that you leave the right bit of information on record, because your resignation letter is definitely going to go on your record. Other managers that will come later on will be able to see this. It's inevitable, right? So we want to start off with hello, Mr. or Miss Boss, right? Or you can just leave it as your boss's name. Being like, hello, John. Hello, Jacob. I don't know. Right? Even if you're on like a more friendlier note, which is like, hey, sup. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it formal because you're about to quit on this person, right? You're not going to be as close of a buddy by the end of this. And then you want to start off sweet and nice, cool. How are you? I hope you're well, because they might not be doing so well by the end of this letter. Now, what we do is we are going to tell them what's happening, right? I should have probably done this before this, but that's okay, right? What we want to do is we want to explain to them what's happening. Usually we want to get to the point, right? Right away, I wanted to let you know I'm quitting, but we're not going to do that today because you got to prepare them. Certain news, it's not a cupcake factory, but today we're going to sugarcoat. You still want to get to the point, but you want to prepare the reader, right? You can be like, after thinking a lot for the past bit, you don't even have to think a lot about it. You could have just came up with this decision on the spot. It's all cool, to each their own. But you want to show them you care, right? You can be like, after thinking a lot for the past bit, trying to fulfill my commitment. That's like the worst grammar. Now, after thinking a lot for the past bit and trying to fulfill my commitment to working until September with the Academy, I've decided that it would be best for me to terminate my contract with the Academy. I don't know whose Academy, what Academy, but I'm sorry, I'm quitting apparently according to this letter. And then, or you can word it, be like, it was a very difficult decision to make, but I have come to the conclusion that I would like to terminate my contract with the Academy. Again, I don't know whose Academy, what Academy, but cool. And then if you really want to explain yourself, don't explain it. We're not trying to, give an essay and then in the very last sentence, by the way, I'm quitting, you want to give the point, I want to terminate this contract. I want to end whatever I'm doing for you guys, my position. If I have a 2 weeks notice, I want to give you these 2 weeks notice. If it's a 6 week notice, I'm giving you my 6 week notice. But we really just want to make sure that we get our point across. You want to be considerate because you're just quitting, but you also want to make sure you get your point across nice and clear. We're using words that make it clear to your boss. I am terminating this contract. I am going to end this. I will no longer be working for you. You want to use words like that just to make sure you're 100% clear. And then if you want to go explain yourself, be like, listen, I can't work with you, or listen, job's not good, or the pay's not good, or blah, 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 I have better opportunities. You can do whatever you want, and you can make all of those reasons. And you can line it up and make point after point after point, but make sure you have the bare bone and the skeleton, right? You don't want to start drawing, eyes and nose and mouth and ear when you don't even have the skeleton of the body or the head. You really, this is how it is. The skeleton is basically being like, hey, hello. The second is what you want. And the last bit would be like, please take this as my formal resignation effective immediately. If you have a 2 weeks notice, obviously it's going to be like effective in 2 weeks, but still you have put in your notice. And if you go to work on Monday, then it literally just means that it's the end of your contract. But we want to keep it, formal. And if you want to make sure, leave on a good note and just throw in a compliment, why not? Compliments never hurt anybody, and you never know when you're going to turn back to this manager, somewhere. The world's a really small place. So, unless they were the absolute worst, give them a compliment. It won't hurt you. It'll come back in a better way somehow later on. But anyway, guys, that's a wrap. Really quick tips for writing a nice, clear, simple resignation letter. Regardless of where you work and what your situation is, this will work. You can work at McDonald's and do this resignation letter. You can work in a, corporate office, or you can work in a school and do this. Like, it really is very versatile. You can use it everywhere, anywhere. It's really just the bare bones. Whatever you decide to add from now is just your character, you personalizing it, you giving your reason, you sharing experiences, whatever you want to do, right? This is the bare bones. This is the skeleton. It's yours to take from now and make it yours.